You were saying Mark is a gamer in more than Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, he's a StarCraft player.
Very good StarCraft
right there.
player.
He has a Bronze League shirt on, kind of a funny shirt. I appreciate that.
So both players open on fetch land, and Mark looks to be cracking his at the end of Josh's turn.
He kept a hand with no land, with no 1-drop. It's pretty surprising to me.
Looks that way.
His deck has Curd Ape, Step Links, Wild Nicottle, Lavamancer. Like, it seems unlikely.
Yeah, that is a very, very curious keep.
And I mean, the Zoo decks do mulligan well, but every single card counts when you're playing a deck like that. So he did have a Lavamancer.
He just drew the Lavamancer. He has
turn 2 Pride Mage, I suppose.
Yeah, he's got Pride Mage available. So now he's gonna crack a fetch and play the Pride Mage.
They just grab a plateau and just grabbing a basic plains.
Yeah, and not knowing what his opponent's playing here, he's seems content to be able to just grab basics.
And that's fine. I mean, he just wants to make sure that he's not going to get blown out by a Wasteland. Wasteland against Zoo. Sometimes if you don't have the extra redraw on the lands, you end up with like pretty awkward things like Curd Apes that are 1/1s or Wild Nicottles that are 2/2s.
Yeah.
And if you grab a bunch of basics, it makes it much harder for your opponents to get you in that regard.
Yeah, I know Mark has a Taiga in hand, so he has access to red if he needs it, but slow playing that just so that he can avoid any sort of Wasteland and wait until he he doesn't need the red mana right now. He didn't have the Lavamancer until turn 2, where the Pride Mage is obviously the better play. So, speaking of Taiga, Josh has one of his own and gets it at the end of Mark's turn.
Yeah, and Josh has some options this turn. Josh has a Stoneforge Misting in hand.
And several dual lands.
Yeah.
Goes with a forest, though. So
perhaps he has a Punishing Fire? It looks like he does.
Believe so.
And I think a Punishing Fire on that Kasali Pride Mage may be exactly what he's looking for.
All right.
I'm surprised he didn't just Punishing Fire it on his own
turn. Or pre-combat.
He's doing it in response to the Exalted trigger.
Okay.
That's fine. So, I mean, you're not sure what your opponent's playing yet. Like, he could be on Bat. You don't really know.
Yeah.
Or I guess he's had Wooded Foothills and an Arid Mesa, so...
Yeah.
I guess it kind of has to be Zoo.
Good indicator there, especially now that he's grabbed Mountain, so...
And now he knows for sure.
So Mark now, Woolly Thoktar. Oh no, it was Knight of the Reliquary. A little better than Woolly Thoktar.
A little bit better. Right now it's already bigger than a Woolly Thoktar, and it has just an incredible amount of synergy with the deck. Sacrificing all these fetch lands, you can search for more lands, use combat tricks. You can get a Horizon Canopy and draw a card if you just need one more card to grab a burn spell or something. I mean, the Knight of the Reliquary is just one of those creatures that really is like a defining piece of the Legacy format.
As is Swords to Plowshares, which was just cast on that Knight of the Reliquary. And so Mark gaining a bit of life there. The odd thing is, other than that Mountain, it looks like Mark's playing Josh's deck. It's a lot of the same creatures we would expect Josh to be playing. So now there's a Grim Lavamancer for Mark. Plenty of fuel there in the yard. And a Knight of the Reliquary for Josh now. So, as I said, Knight of the Reliquary also in Josh's deck.
Yeah, now I'm not sure if I agree with not sacrificing that fetch land right away. Kind of opens himself up to some problems. If he decides to sacrifice that fetch land at the end of his opponent's turn, he can just get Helix out of it. But his opponent decides to go ahead and Helix it before then. So what Mark's planning on doing here is
probably
Lavamancer.
Yeah.
Finish it off.
So burn that Knight to death.
I think I just let it go to my end step, leaving open Helix mana just to see if it happens, just to see if he goes for it.
Right.
And then if he doesn't, you can just do it during his upkeep. You can just Helix it and get it anyway.
Right.
You don't really lose much value doing that. Your opponent's not playing blue cards.
Yeah, I like that.
But I mean, that's a perfectly reasonable way to deal with a card like Knight. just letting Knight get active, you're not really sure what can happen. Like he could, during his upkeep, he could sacrifice a land to the Knight and do all sorts of
shenanigans. Yeah. So instead, the Knight gets struck by lightning and then hit with a fireball.
Yeah, so. Reasonable.
It happens in Magic. And now we have a Squire fetching a sword for Josh.
Stoneforge Mystic, one of the most powerful 2-drops ever printed. So Josh chooses to go and get his Umezawa's Jitte. One of the best cards he can grab against this Zoo deck here.
Yeah, it's a strange sort of sword. It's a legendary sword.
Yeah.
I guess it's not really exactly a sword. It's more of a nightstick kind of thing, or like a sai, I think.
Yeah. It's a Jitte.
That's right.
Knight of the Reliquary. That's a pretty big force he's got there to stand up to the Zoo deck. And now we're kind of seeing how this works.
Right, this is what we were talking about earlier. All the guys are kind of bigger, and even though Mark has Knight of the Reliquary and Pride Mages of his own, it's a little tougher for him to fight through because a lot of his guys tend to be on the smaller side. So this Knight, they say lightning doesn't strike twice. Doesn't strike the same place twice. In this case, it's just struck another Knight.
So Mark has one card left in hand. Yeah, I think Mark has one card left in hand. So Josh has the sort of Feast and Famine in his hand, and he can just cast that. Then equip, and get to untap all of his lands, and basically, take 2 turns and put his opponent on 0 cards. And that should just about lock this game up. Oh, Mark had a fetch land that I didn't see.
I didn't see that either.
It was off the screen a bit.
So responding to the equip is presumably a lightning bolt.
Yeah, I would assume he's just going to bolt that Stoneforge then.
There it is, man. A lot of lightning.
A lot of lightning going down over here.
Lightning helixes, 2 helixes, a bolt, some fireballs.
Crazy spells, flying back and forth, Magic the Gathering. What fun.
And Mark gained all that life from that Swords to Plowshares, and Josh forgot to return Punishing Fire.
Yeah, that would have been a nice little edge. I mean, this Lavamancer would not have been around
right.
to kill both
It's
Knights.
Very relevant.
Those
Knights may have still been around.
And to crack for so much damage. It's important to remember to return your Punishing Fire when you have the opportunity. I'm also surprised that Josh didn't fetch up more red-producing lands more aggressively. Punishing Fire a lot of the time can be pretty mana-intensive. But there's a Scavenging Ooze on his end, and that's a pretty powerful card in this Legacy format. It can remove cards in graveyards from the game, so it makes cards like Tarmogoyf smaller, it makes cards like Grim Lavamancer harder to activate. My dog actually looks a lot like a Scavenging Ooze.
And there we have another Lightning Bolt. Now for the Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, now Josh made a mistake here, and instead of activating it once at a time,
he activated it twice.
Put 2 of its activations on the stack,
and then Mark responded.
Yeah, Mark was able to respond with a bolt and just get rid of it.
Yeah. So Josh having trouble getting that sword into anything's hands, and in the meantime, Mark is not only filling his graveyard, but has for that Lavamancer, seems to have all the removal spells, keeping the board clear.
Oh, life from the loan from Josh, and this is going to allow Josh to accrue like a great deal of card advantage. So what he's going to do here is he's going to get back his Verdant Catacombs and his... he only got one of them back?
Looks like it.
Why?
What does he have?
There's another fetch land.
Yeah, there's Verdant Catacombs still in there, and he grabbed... Did he just grab one? It's odd.
I don't get it.
Isn't that bottom card right under the Punishing Fire a Verdant Catacombs? It was the first fetch land he played. First card he played.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he just doesn't want it.
That's interesting.
Theoretically, maybe he's just maybe he's got another Knight and he wants to keep it out of range of burn, so he's just keeping at least one land in there to make the Knight come down as a 3/3.
But I mean, he has Loam now, so, and their fetch lands. So this is nice. You can force the Lavamancer activation with the Dryad Arbor. you know, he's gonna say, I try to equip, then Mark Larson's gonna be forced to, you know, use a Lavamancer activation on that. Then he can tap the Dryad Arbor for mana, use that to play a guy, and ooh, he's dredging this.
We hit Taiga Wasteland Caracas.
That's a pretty good flip for a Life from the Loam.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot of gas, gives you a lot of options.
It's kind of funny how, you know, it's actually a perfect flip for a Life from the Loam, since you can just get those right back into your hand if you need
you can
them.
just cast it and get an Ancestral, basically. Like those were the top 3 cards of his deck.
Exactly. All right, taps 2.
See, he's going to attempt to equip this Dryad Arbor.
Now it looks like he's playing a card. And it is a Gaddock Teague.
I don't really like that play. I mean,
play.
He could,
he's just going to get Lavamancered, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he attempts
really?
to
Why
equip
that way?
and now gets...
Yeah, because now he can't even equip the Dryad Arbor the same turn. Like, if he had just tried to equip the Dryad Arbor, then his opponent would have been forced to Lavamance the Dryad Arbor, and then he could have just played the Gaddock Teague and equipped it with the mana he had. But now there's no way for him to try to equip the Dryad Arbor.
Well, he played a land. He hadn't played a land
played
yet.
a land yet. Still, I mean, he's just not operating sufficiently, and you're just throwing away a card that you don't have to. Like, the Dryad Arbor is basically free. You have Loam going.
Yeah, you'd rather throw away... You'd rather him Lavamancer the Dryad Arbor. So, all right, well, Dryad Arbor picks up sort of Feast and Famine and then gets into the red zone, chump blocked by the second Grim Lavamancer.
Yeah.
And now we have a 3/3 Dryad Arbor.
And a Chain Lightning's going to take
that out.
Eats
a Chain Lightning, man. Are you sure Mark Larson's on Zoo and not Storm? Because there's a heck of a lot of lightning.
Yeah, so much lightning. All right, let's see what Josh has for us this turn. It's looking like he has at least one more land in hand. He could just loam back the Dryad Arbor and attempt another equip, but his opponent does have an active Lavamancer now, so that might not be the best play. But that's what he's going to do. I guess he doesn't have many better options. Well, he just returned that one card again.
Does he just not remember that he's got Verdant Catacombs? I mean, it's right there.
Well, no, he has Wasteland and Caracas and stuff now. Like, he has to... like, he didn't return his Wasteland to his hand.
Yeah, that seems really odd. Wasteland would be great here to just, if you just want to keep replaying it and blowing up Mark's mana base. Well, Josh is
so confused.
All swords and no guys. Meanwhile, Mark is at a healthy 27 and has a Grim Lavamancer that has yet to run out of fuel.
Please, Josh, cast Life from the Loam and return more than one land to your hand.
Life from the Loam from Josh. Resolves, and he gets one land.
Just gets the Dryad Arbor again. Is
it like he's not realizing that he can return up to 3 lands?
I don't know. He could have like 6 cards in his hand right now.
Well, second Grim Lavamancer, third actually for Mark after the first one chumped the Dryad Arbor.
Yeah, this is
so dredges away some Mother of Runes, a couple copies, and a Green Sun Zenith and a Scavenging Ooze.
All right. And
very nice.
Does Mark have another Lavamancer activation left?
I believe so. I mean, one is Summoning Sick. There's a Wooded Foothills in there. Oh, he has a fetch land.
Yeah,
so it was. Now he has it. Okay. I mean, one good thing about the fact that he's not wastelanding away Mark's mana base is it's less Lavamancer fuel.
Yeah, I mean it's a little odd. Like, I guess he just wants his knight to be bigger. But I feel like if you're just dredging Loam over and over and that's your game plan, then it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, Drew Levin mentions that it is about the knight. He wants a huge Knight of the Reliquary, but you know, I think that's fair. It's just we have yet to see the knight. I mean, it makes sense, but he's going to end up dredging away a knight.
Yeah, and I mean, he's already played one knight and he dredged one away, and he actually...
He's played 2 knights, haven't they? They both ate Bolt Lavamancer. I mean,
yeah.
Helix Lavamancer. So, did he dredge one away as well? Is that 3 knights gone from Josh's deck? Also, just a correction from Twitter. Did you see that? The Glantzman. Okay, he's just got bad handwriting. I thought it looked like a B as well. That M is sideways.
Glantzban Ogre.
It does look kind of like a Glantzban Ogre. I used to play with that card. Thanks for the heads up, Jesse Kohlberg on Twitter.
All right, so let's see. I think Mark's going to serve for 1 here.
Wild Mikado from Mark. Any idea? Okay. And dredged away a knight.
Yep. So only 1 knight remaining in his deck now. And see, he's gonna loam again. Grab another Dryad Arbor. Oh, yeah, grabbing Grove. That's definitely the card you want here.
And grabs a Wasteland as well.
I assume he rebought the Dryad Arbor. Oh no, it got
No,
Path.
it got Path, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he had a second one, but he only
But I think
plays,
he only plays
one. Yeah.
The
All right,
ability to
well.
use a fetch land to get a 1/1 when you're playing that much equipment is really powerful.
Well, I think he just he rebought the Punishing Fire to Grove. So that's the thing we said earlier about him forgetting to gain the forgetting to get the Punishing Fire back when he used Swords to Plowshares. And it's almost like I think some players associate Punishing Fire so much with Grove of the Burn Willows that they forget about the other opportunities to bring it back. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. You know, you're just thinking, oh, this is how the combo is. You don't really think, oh wait, I can get it back in other ways too. So Step Links joins the force on Mark's side of the board. Josh now at pretty low life total.
And I mean, I think Josh had the loam in hand when he cast those knights, so he could have waited a little longer and just let them go a little bit bigger.
Yeah, he could have set things up. It's almost like he kind of made that decision too late, where it was like, all right, I'm going to make my Knight of the Reliquary huge, but it was after he's already lost 2 knights. And if he had just decided on that plan sooner, those knights would have been a lot tougher for Mark to deal with. He would have had to have Swords or Path.
He also he did not respond to the Step Links trigger getting bigger when his opponent played a line that was out of fetch land with the Punishing Fire.
Punishing Fire. Yeah, he could have gotten it back and then cast the Punishing Fire. I'm looking at the wrong list here. All right, now we're going to game 2. So we talked about how those other matches went by in 20 minutes. Now 23 minutes into this one, and the Zoo versus Maverick match is now finally going to game 2. So yeah, I didn't think so. Mark doesn't play Sword, so he would have only had really Path to deal with those knights if they were so big. I mean, or a lot of burn. I mean, he did use double burn in a way by doing the Grim Lavamancer activations, but
yeah,
they
but
were just barely in range. I mean,
that's what's really nice about Lavamancer, though, is that you don't have to spend cards.
Right, they're cards you've already spent. But what
using
I'm saying
every
is,
part of the buffalo.
Exactly. Nice Adam Prosak quote there. So yeah, I mean, he would have. I think both of those knights were 5/5s, and they got Helix Lavamancer 2 in a row, and it really seems like it wouldn't have taken much longer for him to just get, one or two more lands in to make them out of range of even double bolt or double.
Yeah, you just
double
make those
helix.
knights big enough, and they can take over the game entirely by themselves.
Right. I mean, and then
You're also playing Stoneforge. Like you can force so many things on your opponent.
Yeah, I just wonder what Josh's plan was. If he shifted gears, and then and that's what kind of caused him to lose his grip on the match there. And well, anyway, he's got 2 more chances to take down this match.
Something interesting about Josh's deck is that he's kind of splashing blue in this Maverick deck, and he's playing a tropical island, and he can also fetch up that tropical island, and he has things like Birds of Paradise.
He's got Rock's War Monk,
Noble Hierarch.
Right.
But he has 1 Rock's War Monk.
Right. Which he can Green Sun Zenith too.
Yeah,
He's got 4 Green Sun
for it.
Zenith.
I mean, he could just play some guy that's not blue though, right? And he doesn't have to play the tropical island. Just play like another on color duel. Is Rock's War Monk really like?
Hey, I mean, Mono
Kitchen
Red
Finks?
won the last won the last 2 opens. Yeah, but what about Kitchen Finks? Kitchen Finks would be great.
Yeah.
That's an interesting decision. Yeah. I mean, is it just for the War Monk?
Yeah.
And he could still theoretically play the War Monk and just Zenith for it. It's just a one of.
Actually, just for the War Monk and 2 Flusterstorms out of his sideboard.
Okay.
But like the splash color being like a sideboard card, I don't know, a necessary sideboard card that you want to be playing on like the first few turns, as opposed to like a sideboard card that's okay to play on like turn 6 or 7. It just seems weird. Because he's playing 7 fetches plus 1 drop, but that's not that many blue sources. If you're trying, I mean, when you want to be Flusterstorming, it's usually against Storm, and like you want to be doing it on like your turn, like 1 or 2, like your turn 1 or 2 if you're on the play, or your turn 2 or 3 if you're on the draw. And if you're only playing 8 blue sources, that's dangerous. Especially because like if it's on turn 2 and you already use a fetch land on turn 1 to cast another spell, chances are like if you're fetching a tropical island instead of a savanna or a taiga or a plateau, you're just making your mana base worse. I mean, when you're playing all these super cheap spells of different colors, you really have to be like aggressively getting duels in the early turns. Unless you have a hand where you have the luxury of kind of finding each thing that you need.
So Mark's sideboard, he's got 3 Ancient Grudge, which seem reasonable to bring in against a Stoneforge Mystic deck.
Yes.
And he's got 3 copies of Jite, which I think would be pretty nice to have. If only to deal with, and 2 Phyrexian Metamorphs, right? The Jite is nice just to deal with the opposing Jites, if not land 1 and use it. So
I mean, it can be used as a removal spell for Jite, which is nice.
I mean, that's the way. I think it was used that way in Standard more often than as an actual piece of equipment. It was just Jite Wars or Jeet Wars.
It used to be so obnoxious when people played that Coiling Oracle deck, because the deck played so many cantrips and stuff. Like they just drew more Jits.
They always have their Jitas, yeah.
Yeah. Like they'd always have 2 Jits when you had 1, and then they'd win.
I remember going out and buying the Rat's Nest Precon.
Me too. I bought 4 Rat's Nest Precons.
Called up the local shop. Do you have this pre-constructed deck? Can you hold 4 of them for me? I'll be there in 15 minutes.
I remember it being sold out everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know how I managed to. I guess I realized I need these and I can get them for $10 basically, 10 or 11 bucks.
Yeah.
Just with a bunch of other cards. I mean, I had so many Patron of the Zoomies. Like,
hey man,
nobody ever traded me for one of those. I probably still have those stupid Patron of the Zoomies. Like, they're probably still in a box somewhere. No one ever traded me for even one of those.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure like that precon is probably the most sought after precon of all time.
Yeah.
It's a precon containing Jite.
There were no mythic rares then, and Jite was the rare out of that set, out of Betrayers. And it was funny. Like I remember looking online, I'm like, they're like $15.
Also pretty cool they decided to name a pre-constructed deck after Ryan O'Connor's hair.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's got to be a first.
I love Ryder Cotter. He knows that. I promise to everybody watching. All right, both players should probably speed up the shuffling process a bit. They've actually been shuffling for 6 minutes now.
Wow, you're right.
Actually,
it's been 6.5 minutes.
That's a full-on warning. So
we're not. Oh, I mean, are they mulliganing? Is that what's happening here?
no, maybe they're mulliganing. Oh, okay.
I think Mark may be mulliganing. It looks like he's shuffling, and Josh is just chilling.
Yeah, we've been seeing these zoo decks win a lot. Just that, I still don't understand how it ever wins.
I mean, it's very consistent.
It's just so consistent.
It's just
it's really aggressive.
Part of me,
Like-
I like just
Look at these two decks without Brainstorm.
How do they ever win?
blissfully drawing wonderful hands.
Yeah. Well, it's not only consistent, but redundant in its threats. Just burn and dudes, and that's it. So you're gonna draw land, burn, or dude every time, pretty much.
Like Bolt, Helix, Chain Lightning. Use from 1,000,000 1-drops that attack people for like 2 to 4 damage a turn.
Yeah, I mean, how many times are you like, I just need a dude or a burn spell? Look, it's gonna be dude or burn spell.
If you're not getting flooded, you're drawing dudes and burn spells.
Right. And they run like 21 lands. I think there's 21 lands in this deck. 11, 16, 17, 21. Yeah, 21 in Mark's deck. Maximize the chances of drawing dudes or burn. And then there's just like Path to Exile that